see that there are things that are of greater challenges than the perception from outside. And so you take in those issues as well and move on. Move on in the direction to help the country. Get it moving in the direction that will be valuable, will be useful to the people. Thank you.
Has that been the most surprising thing for you? The fact that you have found things that, like you said, before you walked into the office, there were things that you thought looking from a different glance, but now that you're in the office, you're seeing things that have surprised you a lot more than you thought. And does that then explain some of the... Some people say it's slow, so I'll use what they say, the slow pace in which things are happening. And when I say things, I mean change, for example.
Not at all. I mean, it's just that it's a different way of working. Let me put it this way. For us, it's a different way of working from what an average Zambian has known for a long time, that governments go in there governments go in there, leaderships go in there and do run public affairs in the way they want, when they want to do certain things. We bring a different approach to public affairs management, bring an approach which may actually appear unusual. What do I mean? In the sense that we want to remain methodical, we want to remain organized, and sometimes it's viewed differently because citizens have been used to a lot of haphazardness, a lot of quick fixes, because we're looking at creating a base, a framework for solutions that will work for the people, not just in the short term, but in the medium term, in the longer term, and more importantly, even when we've left office, so that the value that we create now, we're creating, may not be seen by some people, but they'll see that value soon, because some people see what they see through the eye, but we can see more than a human being is designed to see more than what the eye sees. It's a visioning part. It is an extrapolation part. It is the part that requires one to drive a country in a way, particularly a country, with a lot of stakeholders, shareholders, if you want to call them citizens, that have different needs, that have different challenges. So as a leader of a country with that diversity of needs and expectations, you want to bring all of those into the frame and manage the country, taking into account that you are managing for a broader base and the diversity that is there. And we're determined to do that, and sooner or later Zambians will see it in that way. But look, maybe it's important to step aside a little bit and simply say to the people of Zambia, we thank them for their enduring support. We thank them for delivering an election under very difficult circumstances, under most difficult of circumstances, I must say. And the people of Zambia were able to deliver a democratic change of government. And we must find a minute to express our appreciation to the people of Zambia for doing that. It is very, very important that we do that, and I'm doing that to the people of Zambia once again, as I've done before. We really appreciate what they did, placing us into this rare, I wouldn't say opposition, but opportunity to serve them and to serve them better. I think it's important for us to, before you round me around and knock me around, is to express that to the people of Zambia. And we want to say to them, we'll not let you down. We're doing things differently, but you will see a more straighter line from where you sit very soon. In fact, when we get to the detail of the conversation, I'm sure we'll see the basic things that we've already been able to do within under 1 month and 3 weeks. As we sit here, we've just been in office 1 month under 1 month, 3 weeks. We're just getting to 1 month, 3 weeks. But for many, it looks like 6 months is 1 year. It's just 1 month, 3 weeks. And if you see the things we've been able to do to try and bring order, to try and rein in on, ills of society, obvious ills of society, it's quite a bit, including other things we'll cover now. Very shortly, if you allow me to include in my opening remarks. Thank you.
Go ahead, if you want me.
Right. So I think it's important for me to since we're facing the public, first and foremost, Luchi, to say, when we were outside as an opposition, we made commitments to the people of Zambia. A number of commitments. Some call them promises. We don't call them promises. We make commitments to deliver what we consider as the bare minimum for our people. Bare minimum. One of the things that, we said we'll do is to rebuild the country from different angles, law and order. I think that's the bare minimum. Who wants to be harassed in a marketplace? Who wants to be thrown out of a marketplace, a taxi rank, a bus stop, like you're a thief? Nobody. We said it before we took this role. We've done it. There will be lingering behavioral negatives. It's human, but we'll rein in on those. And Zambians must feel the freedom. And I believe what I hear is that they're feeling this freedom. And that's important. That's actually barest minimum.
Am I allowed to interject?
Yes.
Okay. Just on the point that you just made. So we have these conversations and we ask the question, does the president know what's actually going on? And so one of the things you just said is this lingering and it's human nature.
Yes.
I understand that. But I think there is something that you need to know, and that is that there are situations, there are areas in this country where people are being victimized. There is this, now we are in power, we need to do what you did to us. That is still going on. There was a news item the other day in Choma, where there was a situation there. Again, I'm not sure whether that was brought to your attention. But how do you address those instances where members of your party have now begun to take the approach that you did this to us, so let's do this to you?
It's human. It's human for members of the UPND and our colleagues in the alliance, because the last 10 years, citizens were abused in many ways, violent ways. And our citizens knew some of the people who were harassing them by name, by location, in terms of where they live. It's only sometimes, depending on who you are and how you look at things, to say, this one took away my market store, so I'm going to do the same now. This one beat me, I'm going to do the same. I sympathize with those feelings, but I disagree with retribution. That's the starting point. And we're providing guidance to the nation that they ought to disagree with retribution, because there will be an endless situation. This group comes in, harasses those that exit, because they were harassed by those when they were in office. Where will this end? We are determined to end this. I think that's the starting point. Clarity in your mind that this is wrong. If it hurt me, and now I want to hurt someone else, then you are lying that it hurt you. Because if you are hurt, you want to end the hatred. Simple and straight. Logic. I already preempted probably your question by saying there will be lingering behaviors, but from this seat that citizens of Zambia delivered us with the landslide, the youth in particular, they can count on this president, that the president will rein in on these things. And the pronouncements have been made. There is reasonable stability. You really can't compare with what was going on at the time when those hooligans were beating people in Kulima Tower, in everywhere, intercity. You couldn't use the intercity back. The relative comparison is that there's calmness now. Freedom Day, Freedom Month, since we've done 1 month plus. It's Freedom Year, it's freedom forever. Now, to institutionalize that, Luch, we need the police to do their work because they are the ones who should maintain law and order. They've been given the political will, they've been given the direction from the executive. They are part of the executive, by the way. They ought to protect citizens. They should do that. But in doing that, we've also indicated very clearly that they must not abuse human rights. You get that? We get that? Because in maintaining law and order, you don't have to go out and beat savagely people, tear gas people, discharge live ammunition, as was the norm. People forget, it's only 60 days ago. 60 days ago, it was bullets at the High Court there. We have members with bullets in their bodies. And the hospitals couldn't attend to them. Now, we have said the hospitals must remove those bullets from their citizens. But in removing bullets from their citizens, we don't want citizens in the name of UPND to sink more bullets in other citizens' bodies. Not at all. That will not happen. It will not happen. Hear it from me. If it happens, then the law takes its course. That does not mean we don't like the UPND members. We love them, but we want them to do things within the law. And that, again, goes to the institutions that fight these things. Prosecution. If there's transgressions where people shot other citizens, the law must apply. The law must. Let me be clear. If you were the one who shot Lawrence Banda in Kahoma, 10, 11 hours in the morning, the right thing to do is to hand over yourself to the police, because the police now must do their duty. They don't need my instruction, the president's instruction. I don't want to belabor this point to say, Luchi, there will be lingering behaviors. 10 years of bad behavior, 10 years of hooliganism cannot be healed in 1 month and 3 weeks. It will take a bit of time, but every time it rears its ugly head, it will be dealt with within the law, with respect for human rights, liberties, and freedoms. I think that is the way we should approach this thing. And we shouldn't be singing songs, oh no, there was an incident in Choma. There will be instances in Lusaka right here.
And there was a High Court.
But we will rein in on those. But we will rein in on those issues. I think that's important thing. Clarity, law and order must apply, and law recognizes no political party. That's what our friends fail to do. Luchi, that's the leadership we are providing. That alone, to many people, once you have your freedoms, you can now trade as a woman, as a widow. You can hire a truck to move the tomatoes you've ordered from a farm in Chisamba to Soweto, and you land in Soweto, and you know there will be no thugs grabbing your tomato boxes and putting a price for you, and you lose money, you go back home, you have lost in that transaction. If any citizen is listening to this conversation and they are aware of such issues, please place a call here on this program and express your experience of these issues, and my team will take note of that. We will call that individual back after the program and make some remedial moves to protect citizens. First call we have is to protect citizens from internal thugs. Of course, external enemies. We all know that. I don't have to waste time on that.
Yeah.
So I guess I have answered the question. Luchi, just being on this program, being on this program in office one month, 3 weeks, I had a press briefing, I think 2 weeks ago. Now we have this radio program. One of my colleagues, respected colleagues, after the flash went out, media flash went out that I'll be having this radio program, said, no, Mr. President, don't do it. Because the PF and opposition are lining to embarrass you. I said, I'm not here, I'm not working for the PF. Yes, they're citizens, but I'm working for all the citizens, not the PF. And we should not be walking away from our commitment because opposition, Luchi, will say things or to embarrass you. There is no basis for embarrassing anyone. If a person makes a call that is aggressive, that is abusive, it's up to them. And the citizens will judge, the listeners will judge as to whether this call makes sense or it doesn't make sense. But it is part of the commitment. Luchi, I may remind you that I was appearing on your program. Will you finish? Yes. And I said, once we form government, we will change the culture. The president has to speak to the citizens directly. And this is it. I made a commitment, I have fulfilled.
And I'm grateful that you've honored it.
Thank you, I've honored it.
Yes.
You are too quiet. You must say it loudly. I think it's you who interviewed.
It is me.
What did we discuss that time? Let's have a conversation.
No, I mean we had many discussions, me and you.
On this one?
On this particular
Appearing.
one. Yes, we agreed that if you did win, which you did, which
I used to tell you when
yes,
we
when
win.
you win.
I
exactly.
used to tell you when we win.
And you said to me, that one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to appear on Phoenix, and I'll allow as many people to call in. And I said, here's what this is the truth. This is what I actually said to you. I said to you, I've heard this before from others.
Mm-hmm.
But what tends to happen is when they do win, you never hear from them again.
So, what did I tell you, Rose? I said I'm different.
Yes.
I said we're cut from a different cloth. And here I am. Without concern of anyone who is planning to go to embarrass, that's their responsibility. I have my responsibility. To who? To the people. So, if you have a pen and paper, you start ticking the things we committed we will do. This is one you tick, that I have fulfilled it. This is twice in 1 month, 3 weeks. But this is the way, in my view, it should be. How can you be in a public office at this level for 10 years, for 5 years, 10 years, and you don't hear the people directly? Everything can be said. Remember, in this office, there are people around here who think their job is to protect the president from hearing and knowing what people are saying. I'm not one of those presidents. No, not at all. So, tick that box. Okay. Commitment. This is only the beginning or second. But also, what else did we say? Around here, Luchi, we said that the media will not be guarded. The media will be protected. The media will self-regulate, because there was issues around media regulation, restricting the freedom of the media. Media is the fourth estate, and we've lived by our word by getting the media to regulate themselves. Get on with the work, regulate yourselves. We are all waiting. The ball is in your court now, and I'm surprised that the media is reasonably quiet, when for years you could not have this opportunity. Now you have it. So regulate yourselves, be professional, be fair. Facts matter, because you can destroy people who are innocent. I'm a victim of that, which, as you know, the most discriminated, the most arrested, the most abused. And some media organizations ran a campaign against HH. No, HH is a Masonist. I have no idea what Mason means. HH is a whatever. I have no idea. Anything, isms were thrown at me by the media. Self-regulation means being responsible. And being accountable to yourself, to the people, to the public, by simply being professional. Tell the truth. The truth doesn't hurt. Tell the truth. Be balanced. You can't scream headlines without the subject being hurt. So I think I'm not preaching how you should behave. I'm simply saying responsibility is important. And someone says, oh, hey, church, you're going to create a problem. Because now there will be an avalanche of negative media. I said, no, there are laws already that will regulate excesses, even for the media. So I think responsibility is what we're talking about. And I wish, Luch, you had played that conversation. I just wished you had played that conversation, and then you would have said, now here we are, based on that conversation. But
actually,
you are the boss. That's the point.
So I just want to, I want to just one thing on this point, and then I want to allow as many people to speak to you.
Yeah.
So
one or two things we state.
Okay, all right. So
you
you also said one of the things you committed to me was that you would have continuous engagements. Is that something that you're still committed to? So is that a quarterly? Is it monthly? What does that look like?
I think between the media, let's just get organized, because even getting you here as Phoenix has made a few media houses unhappy. Now, this is something we want to grow out of. At a particular engagement, I can only be hosted by one media organization. But if the media organizations organize themselves that simultaneously like this, you will have 2, 3, 4 radio stations, television stations. You agree that there will be one moderator and a second moderator. If you want a third one from different media organizations at the same function like that, you see the extra chairs there. One or two other interviewers or moderators will sat here. I have no problem with that. But learn to work together in complementarity. Sometimes people always think of competition. My mind works different. Because I come from a professional home. First, I come from the village where we lived as a community. You realize the value of the person next to you. As hunters, young boys, someone runs faster than you, and when you go out hunting, you want a guy who runs faster to be in front of you, so that the chances of taking meat home is high. But someone raises something you don't know, because you didn't grow up in the village, raises dogs better. There is an art in raising dogs. And so you want a guy that raises dogs better, who know how to catch. Those were those days. These days we don't want to do those things, animal cruelty, right? But you work with that guy so that, again, you have a chance of having something for the meal. So work as a media, organize yourselves. How do you want this to be done? The team in State House will work with you to actualize the regular engagement by composition of the media, or alternative, that this time it's this media house hosting, next time it is another station. So that by this hosting, Luchi, after that you don't get calls that, how come, Luchi, you are favored by HS? Not at all. I didn't organize this. You organize it with our staff here. And that's the way it should be. Regularity, you decide. But let's do it in a fair way.
Okay.
The president can't be on this program every week, every month. Maybe quarterly. I'm only suggesting, maybe quarterly, maybe whatever time. Let's agree, we'll be there.
Okay.
But also there are occasions where you will be able to interview the president frequently. Last week we had a COVID-19 relaunch, and it gave the opportunity to the media who were there to engage. And we will be having such functions going forward. So all I want to say to your colleagues in the media, that they will have their shot, and the public will have their shot. Let me also say something very briefly, that we also want to be able to have a situation if the president, when the president is on the copper belt, we can have a media engagement on the copper belt, so that the people of the copper belt feel much better that we are also open to them. So will be the media in the provinces, in Chipata, Breeze FM, in wherever else, radio Liseli in Mongu, any. So, but let's be organized. Because you are dealing with an organized president, let's be organized ourselves. Then it's easier to do things. Would you allow me to say one or two things?
Can I? Because the idea here is that it's an open line forum with you, and I think let me at least allow the first 3 questions that I have on text.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I do a deal with you?
Okay.
Just
Let's do a
spend
deal.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Just to say a few things.
Okay.
That will probably contextualize the questioners.
Okay.
Allow the questioners to raise things that I think are of vital importance.
So the deal is 2 minutes.
Yes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You see, let me comment on 1 or 2 key issues. Again, driven from our agenda before we form government. Very important, in my view. What are we doing? What did we come to do? What brought us into public office? It's a ticket of change, Luchi. Change meaning what? Change to drive the economy, to reconstruct the economy. That's a flagship. That's a flagship. Reconstructing the economy for what? To reconstruct the economy to create opportunities for our people in an equitable way. Jobs, business, opportunities, to do business. Even just to trade in the market, like I described earlier, freedom to be able to trade in the market. And no one should beat you, because that's your right. And we've talked about that happening. To access health services, to access education, education for all. Again, this is one where some colleagues are saying, HH and you've been overpromised. We did not overpromise. We made no overpromising, no promise. Education for all is a bare minimum. Everybody who has intellect, even those that have parents have no resources, our agenda on the road, our eyes are set there, is that we should give them opportunities to go to school, just like I did. That's not overpromising. But we are also saying that we will be smarter, Luchi, in the sense that in delivering education for all, we will discriminate positively. What do I mean? We will change the system. We are working to change the system. Not we will. We are working to change, because we're in office now. We're working to change the system that even the current bursary system must be improved and loan system must be improved so that the beneficiaries are from families that are stressed, that cannot afford. Not the beneficiaries being HH's children. No, my children must not be in the queue. They must stand aside because HH can take care of them. That leaves space for a child from Ngombe, Chiprukusu, Kashinakashi, Mungomba, Mutomena, Sishekano, and all of those places. That's the point. We must contextualize and understand what we're saying, education for all, indeed is education for all. And when we go to those children who are vulnerable, who are orphans, who are from lower, struggling families, I hate the word lower, struggling families, because no one is lower than another. Inherently we are all equal, but financially, economic circumstances. There, someone will say, how will you deliver that? It's simple. The delivery of which child should get a facility, if there are 10 amongst that category that deserve it, Luchi, the one who is first in the queue is the one with the best results in that category. We've removed those who can afford, their parents can afford. Now we go to those who deserve it. If there's a limitation over time, as we grow the economy, then the first priority will go the brightest. Just hang on a little bit, Luchi, to the brightest child. That's how it was under Kaunda. We went for national service, and then there was military, there was production. You could be there for a number of months, the minimum 6 months. You got out of the camp, military camp, like I did, because when your results came, you got a distinction, and the acceptance of UNZA came. With that acceptance came automatically the bursary. Many people didn't know that was a positive discrimination amongst those who deserve a bursary. It's no different. until we're able to bring more numbers on board, and probably even university education, secondary school. That is not overpromising. Let me move away. I see you want to challenge.
This is very hard because I wanted to make a point about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in 5 years from now, is the idea to have free education from grade 1 going forward, or is it still based off merit, how vulnerable, where you come from? Is that what's the thinking here?
I've explained, Luchi, our approach. Let's use the right word. Yeah. Education for all.
Okay.
That's the right word.
So it's not free education. So it's not free education.
There's a free component in there. Okay. I'm just
no,
saying.
Because people, people are literal. People are very literal.
The word
if in the campaigns you said free education, and then you flip it and say education for all, the thinking is, he's gone back on his words.
No. It is what is called, if the resource envelope is limited, you do prioritization. That is what you do in your house. If there's a child who is less talented in the house, you spend a bit more on that child than the one who is talented and is flowing in school, isn't it? It's positive discrimination. Discrimination maybe is a bad word. It is equity. It is fairness on recognition of who needs what. All the children need education. But we remove those that can move on without the state. When I got a government bursary, I want to remind you that at UNZA, there were students sponsored by the mines. There were students sponsored by the parents that time, and the Kaunda. Remember, we respect the Kaunda time, me and others. Even that, what I'm saying was there. What we're saying is not different. So please, let's not be verbose and begin to create issues that don't exist. Those who like to talk that language are the ones who want to say, the UPND and its partners overpromised. The UPND wishes to deliver the barest minimum to society, including education, health, as it were. Let me just finish off this and then we can engage maybe if you wish. Let me indicate that this is a parameter, this is a platform we elected in. To do this, to deliver change, opportunity for our people equitably in many ways, we have to deal with a couple of things. These things, because they affect our ability to deliver, these things include managing the COVID-19 pandemic. Because if we don't bring COVID under control, it will constrain our ability to deliver on the change platform for the jobs that we need to create for the youth, because the economy will not be freely open and flexible, and investments won't come. Remember, we were on the red list, and we worked very hard. It's another deliverable now. We worked very hard, appointed the COVID advisor, who is seated in this room. There was never anything like that, so that we raised the fight against COVID to State House level and push it, working with the ministries, line ministries, health, education, the frontliners, right? We have made a lot of progress there. Luchi, COVID advisor, I talked about that in the campaign, is here. Now we have relaunched the COVID, vaccinations, but masking must continue. You're doing a good job. Masking must continue. And other issues of science, guided by science. But more importantly, manage the resources properly so that we can bring COVID under control. If you check in Europe, look at the tennis matches, Europe, America. Now people go to the stadiums are filling up now. And if you check, very few people have masks. Why? Because they've been vaccinated. So when we vaccinate our people, we have a chance to reopen the economy. We have a chance to create jobs. We have a chance to save lives. Even if we may be challenged in terms of health service care delivery system, oxygen, and other things. Fourth wave may be coming. We're getting ready. So we relaunched more vaccines. Our trip to New York, Washington, is following behind us 1.6 million vaccines, which we were able to negotiate that week we were in the States. This is what this presidency is all about. Delivering for the people, saving the lives of the people, then we can have a chance in the economic area. So managing resources, very important. So I encourage people to vaccinate. We are vaccinated, my wife, my children are vaccinated. Please, let's do it. Save the person next door to you. Rule of law. We talked about it. Absolute must. And we'll be relentless on this. Including what I'll get on, the fight against corruption. No sacred cows, past corruption, present, future. It's challenging, it's risky, our minds are clear. Recovering assets, you see movements there, but we had to put the anchors around there to make sure that the loopholes are sealed, to make sure that what you saw a few days ago, when a matter goes to court, the prosecution will be ready. It should not be happening. But again, old habits linger on. But we are raining on that. What else? What else? What else? The issue of decentralization, which taking money, devolution, taking money to the citizen. The budget in our country every year, citizens didn't know. All these years, which when it was budget time, everyone told, government before us told citizens that wait for the budget. But they knew that in that budget, there were only two items. Debt service, public sector emolument. There was really nothing else for citizens. The first budget we're putting in place, we are bringing devolution, decentralization at the center. Moving money from the thieves in the urban centers, the few that are privileged to occupy public office. As you will see when we start asset recovery, huge monies, gluttonous behavior. People, one person will take millions of dollars. You will see that. We've been working methodically, and when the results start showing, you'll be very pleased with us. And we learned the lessons of the task force time, where there was little recovery. This time we are focusing on retrieving the money, then allocating it to where it's needed most, including education, health, other areas, youth support, right? Very important. But the youth must know that we have to do these things first in order to create resources. Now we have a budget, you will see first budget of the UPND is 2022. Even what we are doing now, we are doing them outside the budget, because the budget is a PF budget up to December. That's the truth. And citizens need to know that. And this budget will now move some resources gradually upwards to the center, to the not to the center, to the local areas away from the center, so that the woman, my loved example, a woman doesn't have to walk 5 kilometers with a bucket of water here, 20 liters, a child at the back, firewood here, 5 kilometers to and from collecting water. Now the decision will be made at the local level. We want a borehole here, but the borehole must be done at the right cost. That's what we're doing. We are also working on ensuring that communities, when they receive the resources, they don't become the new thieves in the village. Accountability. We had a meeting right here with the Auditor General. And the Auditor General will be auditing districts now, where the constituencies are, where the money is going. But the important thing I must have said, we are changing the procurement guidelines. 3 rules. 1, whatever you buy, public sector must be lower cost, right cost. 2, quality must be good. Not these cheap roads you are seeing all over. 3, deliver on time. But when we now move the money to the localities, we will also give guidelines on how that money must be used so that it's not wasted, but delivering for the immediate needs, including, my friend, contracts will be given for that devolution-related money to the local suppliers of goods and services. So the youth, I want to address the youth. They are the opportunities. Now, in your constituents where you are, you'll have an opportunity to tender for construction of a teacher's house. Right in the constituency. The money will be there, rather than the situation that is there, Luchi, where the contractor to build one classroom, one teacher's house, comes from a school in Chama. The contractor comes from Lusaka. And in the past, that was a party card. You know what I'm talking about. You know it very well. If it wasn't that, it was a foreigner. In Chama kwa Kambombo, kwafika muntu, awoneka different. Even understanding the local issues doesn't. But that's how the system works. We're changing all of that. We are in office now, and we're determined to do that. It will put money in the local areas, a lot of money, over a 5-year period. First time in the history of this country, which We will have a national budget being debated here. Alongside, we will have a constituents budget in the council chambers being debated for those local priorities: water, health, education, youth fund, women fund, including, happy, Luchi, a scholarship fund at the local level in the constituents, where the brightest child, again from the poorest family, will get a scholarship from a constituents fund. Never done before in the history of this country. This is what we're doing. And Zambians may not be seeing it now, they will see it starting next year, because that's the first budget we are controlling. And I'm just about to close here. The benefits of this are obvious. Local involvement, local procurement, youth opportunity, women opportunity, children opportunity, including where we are going, Lochi. I had a meeting, not here, in the other room yesterday, with the Law Association of Zambia. And the last team, led by the President, Shonga, said, Mr. President, we're so delighted with your devolution decentralization policy. We heard what you're doing. We also don't want to be left out. Can you create a district attorney and take the legal services for the people to the district, so that at the district center, there will be, subject to many things and time, a district attorney. The courts must work at the district. People don't have to queue in Lusaka, coming from a different location, following a magistrate, following a high court. All those things must go. It will be a transformation. It will be, and I'm saying it will be, because we've started the first step to allocate the resources. Now, what else would I want to say? Debt. Debt management is very important to us. Very, very important. Because I told you two items: choke the budget, debt plus public sector pay. If we leave the debt as the way it was accumulated by our colleagues, we say they were wrong when we were in opposition. We are even convinced more that they were wrong. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Right? Now we're in office, we can't continue the blame game. We are saying we're putting in place a debt management program to rein in on the debt, to release resources from debt service and amortization and take it to the people. That's what we're doing. And there's a lot of great things that we're doing here. And people have talked about, on another matter, Luchi, the issues relating to the pace of making appointments. We're studying things, looking at things, checking. The rot of corruption has touched so many people, involved so many people. You try and move in this direction, you realize, oh, there's a black spot on that one. Move away from them, because you put them in that office soon, they will be the first guys to exit office, because the new corruption will even be tougher than old corruption, because it will be under our eyes. It will not happen where a person is involved in corruption and continues in office, goes to the court with a ministerial car and cadres. It will not happen. I'm saying it will not happen. Now I can be definitive. It will not happen. So we're doing all of those things, assessing. And I said to people last time we were at the press briefing there, Luchi, I said, you want to be a permanent secretary in the UPND and the Alliance government, search yourself. Because some of them want to be permanent secretaries to continue doing what those who have gone were doing. Procuring a pen, Luchi, costing 2 kwacha, 20 kwacha. I asked one procurement officer, I said, come and talk to me. He came home. I said, why are you guys buying pens at 20 kwacha? He said, Mr. President, it's a systemic problem. The stealing is all over, across. Because this pen, someone has to give a contract. To give a contract, someone has to have a share. What? Is what's been going on? 10 years. He said, yes. So a pen for 2 kwacha is sold for 15 kwacha, 20 kwacha. How many pens do you buy on average in your area? 1 million. 1 million pens? So 18, let's say 20 kwacha, take a number. This is illustrated. 20 kwacha less 2 kwacha. 18 kwacha money from the taxpayer, from a child, an orphan who should go to school, has gone to somebody's pocket. He said, yes. 1 million pens by 18 kwachas, 18 million kwacha. Just one pens. Smallest number. That will not happen. So in placing people, which we are looking at how vulnerable people are they capable to walk the talk? Yes, come through. But also on another side, this is not a military coup. We did not come through a military coup to clean out everybody, because some people can be managed as long as we get the systems in place. Because a military coup, you can shunt out everyone, because everything ceases. Government doesn't cease, it moves on. By the way, if you go to Hakainde police station, the average view was that police officers were OPF, isn't it? But how come HH1 in Hakainde police station? It means that in this police system, people want to change for the things I'm talking about. Okay. So I want to end here and say, patience does help. Yesterday we made changes after reviewing, after checking methodically and lining the ducks in a row, making sure that the ministers came first, diversity, unity, reunifying the country, all the promises are on the table, the PSs are coming through, the boards are going one by one, and then within a short time before you realize that, because 3 months is a short time. It's called short term, isn't it? 3 months, 4 months, it's short term. I know a president in another African country, a big African country with 250 million people, who never appointed a minister after they formed government for 6 months. I know. I don't want to mention them. You can do your own research. It is 1 month, 3 weeks. We are on track. I understand the anxiety that people have. I understand. Okay. They are in a hurry. They expect the UPND government to drop the legal changes. We will do that. But we are methodical. We are organized. We want to reduce the mistakes that we're making. But at the same time, making sure that we understand, and people who are being appointed understand the environment. So yesterday we pushed in, ZESCO board is gone. And the next move is no. It is no. Anyone who is logical and clever knows what is happening next. Indian board is gone, Zambia Railways is gone, Zamtel is gone. Today or tomorrow you see more that are going. Now we have put the handles in place. We now understand that that move there will have this impact. But if we don't push the 3 rules of procurement, proper cost benchmarking, no overpricing, right? Deliver quality, deliver on time. The new people we put in office will do exactly what those who have gone were doing. The bleeding will continue. Zambians being deprived of services will continue. We are reining in on all these variables. That's what you say that, what did you find? I've now told you what we found, and we are determined to do the right thing for the people of Zambia. I think you have been kind enough to me.
I have, because you said 2 or 3 minutes, but it can never be 2 or 3 minutes with you.
Thank you very much.
I just want to put just this point, and then the longer you take, do you not worry that files are being deleted, that things are being done to hide? You don't worry at all?
It's possible to do that. Yeah. It's possible to do that. The good news is that if you are buying something, you don't buy it from your left pocket to put it in your right pocket. You will have talked to somebody. You will have dealt with somebody. And what thieving does, Luchi, a thief is a thief. The motivation for a thief is not just need, usage value for what they're stealing. It's also greed. And they steal from somebody. They spend, in sharing 18 kwacha, someone is more greedy than the other. And that's why we know what's going on. We already know what's been going on. Someone is talking. Okay. And part of the framework we're putting is a toll-free number. It is the community itself, Zambian community, who drove change. That's why we got a landslide, didn't like what was happening. So someone else knows. What would you delete? How much can you delete? Okay. So, but it's possible. Yeah. I'm agreeing. I'm admitting, right? Yeah. It is possible. Yeah. But the way we are moving takes into account.
It's also possible that there is sabotage happening as well.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is
true. The longer you take.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you that it's not long.
Okay.
I'm just explaining.
No, I understand. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Let's deal with some of the questions that came in. I'll do 3 questions that came in via the text. And then I'll take calls as well. So let me begin first of all with Mr. Sweden Angala. He sent this yesterday. He says, in the health sector, one of the biggest challenges we have had is dialysis for kidney failure patients. Oftentimes, consumables for dialysis have run out, leading to kidney patients skipping days, sometimes weeks to dialyze. And in the last months, especially this year, many lives have been lost due to a lack of dialysis. Further, there are a few dialysis units around the country, namely Livingston, Lusaka, Mansa, Kasama, Chipata, and Dola, yet these machines cost less than the price of a brand new VX. Are there any plans to expand these centers to every district hospital in Zambia and also make sure that consumables do not run out where we have renal centers? So that's question one, that's from Sweden. Question two comes from somebody who wants to find out about NAPSA. And he says, please intervene with our NAPSA contribution so that we can invest in farming now for our children. It is alleged on social media that NAPSA money was being used by the previous government to buy vehicles. And just to follow up on that point is you've made promises around NAPSA reforms. Are those promises will they still be kept? And then the last question on the text, I know I've added quite a few, but
no problem.
Is there a platform put in place where profiles of women resumes can be, this is CVs essentially, can be sent for possible consideration on various appointments? I ask because women don't meet in bars for linkages and they don't lobby. I ask because we are seeing a male-dominated arrangement. This is from Miriam Sabi. So do you want to quickly tackle those three,
yes,
and then I can
very
go through the
now
yeah.
in responding, because I think we've laid the ground.
Yeah.
Let me start with the bottom. Last in, first out.
Yeah.
Last in, first out. A principle in accounting, right? One of the principles. Yes, women should send in their resumes, but it's debatable to say that women are being left out, Luigi. But let me say that, yes, we should create a platform. My team is listening. They've taken note. Is there a number that person has given?
There is a number. I can quickly find it.
So if you forward the number
yeah.
to my team, we will reach out to that individual after the program. After the program, different culture, different way of doing things. So, and people should not fear. Let me appeal to citizens. Don't fear to call. Don't fear to give your number. I know in the past you'll be victimized. Going forward under this administration, your number will help us to reach you out and to see if we can follow up for solutions, for remedies, okay. Possible remedies. Okay. So no fear of retribution. Already the rule of law and order we talked about will protect citizens. Okay. And this UPND government and this alliance partners and citizens, because it's a partnership with the citizens. I mean, delivering the win we deliver, you have to be in partnership with citizens. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. We will not have retribution as part of the culture. So women, yes, are welcome, and but I have a different opinion when you say women don't meet in the bars to lobby. Women lobby. Women use our wives, fellow women, to lobby heavily, and we do bend to the lobbying. So it's a light moment. But I'm saying this government will not discriminate against women. You will see a lot more population of roles, responsibilities coming through for women. Okay. But it's also true that the women have not been left out. For the first time, we've done certain things that have never happened in the history of this country. The first woman Speaker of the National Assembly. There are three arms of government. One is the executive led by ourselves, this fellow speaking. The second is judiciary, Chief Justice, we haven't decided. The third is Parliament, National Assembly, Parliament, legislature is led by the woman, first ever time. The second deputy speaker is a woman. Very important. Labor minister is a woman. I'm doing something here. Labor minister is a woman. Health minister is a woman. Information minister, information and media is a woman. Several women have come through. Maybe we haven't pronounced it properly. Given the limited number of women who made it into parliament for different reasons, including violence, which we are reining in to allow more women to come through in elective office. Unfortunately, our constitution, which restricted us from drawing cabinet from inside parliament. Fewer women came through from all the parties. Partially, it was a violent environment, which we are reining in. So we expect more women to come through in the next round, I believe.
There's an argument, sorry.
Yes.
There's an argument around, you have many special advisors. You can randomly pick up the phone and call anybody to be your special advisor. And the argument is, but he didn't call many women to be special advisors.
They make a commitment,
Yeah.
which my team may hit me after the program,
Yeah.
that PS State House coming is a woman.
Okay.
The one who will be in charge of everything around here is a woman. Competent woman. Decent woman. How about that?
Okay.
May return to the subject. Vice President is a woman. There was before in the last government, there's another Vice President, but there was no speaker. There was no speaker. So this is of vital importance to us. So the women resumes, you're welcome, but also be prepared to bring merit on the table. Yes, you're a woman. Yes, you're a wife. Yes, you're a sister, you're an auntie, you're a mother. Bring quality on the table. Share in the vision of running a country differently in the way we are doing. You're welcome, but we'll give support to our women. Okay. The NGOCC came here, right here. We had a meeting, we had a good conversation, and we looked at how we will unblock these rigidities that have not allowed more women to come on board, including when we reach there, the constitutional amendments that will allow more women to come into Parliament, into the council chambers by quota.
Okay.
So combined with elective office, a freer environment, more women will come through. Then I am hoping, which, let the cat off the back. I'm hoping that
you've already committed. You've already committed. You can't go back anywhere.
I'm hoping that when the constitutional amendment comes, we will convince the majority of Zambians to allow women, institutionalized, to have a decent quota at various levels of decision making. If we can make it legal, even if we may not put it in the Constitution, but the Constitution will indicate so that the secondary legislation, subsidiary legislation, which is, I think, where certain things must sit, would then come through, but driven by constitutional indication, it will be a good thing.
Okay.
It will be a very good thing. So I think we have to work together. We discussed with the NGOs. NAPSA issues, indeed, we're looking at NAPSA. We're looking at NAPSA. We looked at it from outside with the knowledge we had from business. We're looking at it from inside. I will not say more. I don't want to preempt what's going on, but our commitment to allow pensioners to access part of their pension to be able to invest like is proposed, absolutely will be on track on that. We will do more than NAPSA. We're actually looking at other funds, other facilities that will allow those that are still working, so before they get tired, they get to 60 years old or 55 years old, they could access funds that will allow them to invest so that they become more freer financially, they become self-employed, to some extent employ children. That's why we've set up this ministry. Everything we say here is connected, methodical. What do I mean? The Ministry for Small, Medium Enterprises was designed to deal with these issues, connected. Some people don't see the connection, we see it. We read it, we understand it. So including the setting up of the green economy and the environment ministry is all connected to allow certain colleagues at certain ages, certain gender or type or age to access facilities that will allow them to be reasonably financially independent. But let me drop something that my colleagues may be angry with me. We are looking at a mortgage scheme. We talked about it during the campaign. We're looking at a mortgage scheme to empower different people who ordinarily would never be able to afford a house. But we want to do it at an affordable level so that monthly the repayments that are required, which are structured, financial, employer, all of them coming, payroll deduction in some cases. For those who are not in formal employment, self-employment, a mechanism is worked on for monthly repayment so that we reduce the default rate. Look, we're looking at all those things. And 1 month, 3 weeks, we're doing a great job for the people of Zambia. And when we finalize those things, we don't want to make too much noise now. We're working on them. So you see somebody. So yes, yes to that question, we're looking at it, but it's more we expect to do. And you see that very soon. The Sweden, 100%. I know what Sweden is talking about. Luckily, I know him. I know his situation. I sympathize with people in that situation. I know the COVID advisor is focusing on COVID, but he's a doctor, he's a medical doctor. We need to pick up this issue, please, colleagues here, and call Sweden after this conversation and say to Sweden, we agree with you. Part of saving money from the thieves, the corrupt, is to put in the health sector, as it is in education, as it is in youth programs. So yes, Sweden. But let's collaborate, because sometimes working with stakeholders, COVID advisor, drives us to solutions which are more practical and allows the limited resources to be used properly. Yes, the answer is yes. Okay. I'm sorry about that, but and we have no excuse to make because it was the previous government. We're in government now. We have to make it happen. It will happen. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let me pick. Can we agree that we'll do 5 sets of questions?
Not a problem.
My plan was originally 3,
You're
but
the
let's do 5.
You're the boss.
So that we can allow as many people to get in touch with you. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Radio Phoenix.
Yes, this is Radio Phoenix. You're live. The president can hear you.
Yes, you're speaking to Lushomo Melimo.
Lushomo, go ahead.
Yes. My question mainly for the president. First of all, congratulations to the president. I wanted to find out what his area of focus is regarding to agriculture sector in Zambia. As you have noticed, for the past years, the Ministry of Agriculture hasn't recruited many people, and on top of that, I feel as if the agriculture sector hasn't been given that much attention, because it has got the potential of performing more than it's performing right now. And then my other question would be, how can the president engage us youths who are entrepreneurs in agriculture, because people have been doing so many things on the ground and would love to share our ideas on a national level. Is there a platform for those ideas or for us youths who are eager to bring in innovations?
Lushomo, thank you very much. 0978-895-895 if you would like to call us. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, lost you on that line.
Can we do one question per person?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm loving you.
Okay, that's fine. You're the other boss. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Okay, if you can just ask your question, Mr. Chibembe.
My question goes to His Excellency. We are all civil servants that are critically ill, and some may need some transfers from one place to the other in the process of trying to access health services. So, I'm just asking when the government will consider lifting the ban on transfer for civil servants.
Okay. He would like to know when you're lifting the ban on transfer of civil servants. Yes.
Okay.
All right. 0978-895-895. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Luchi?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. What's your name?
Yes, you are talking to Lee.
Lee, go ahead, Lee.
Yes, bakateka mwabuka shani.
Twavuka bwino bali mulishane.
Twavuka.
Mulishane kunganda.
Kulisha bwino bakateka mwe. Kulisha bwino. Yeah, I think the question, Mr. President, I want to ask you is, in terms of job creation, sir, I think you have heard something on social media saying for the next 5 years, there will be nothing like recruiting police, Zambia, National Service, prisons, and the army. So how true is this issue circulating on social media, sir?
Okay. Thank you very much. 0978-895-895 if you'd like to call us. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Lucy.
Morning,
is that
sir.
Radio Phoenix?
This is Radio Phoenix. What's your name, sir?
Okay. My name is Gregory Tembo. I would love to speak to I've got a question for His Excellency.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Your Excellency, good morning and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, Atembo Maukabwanji.
President. My question revolves around infrastructure projects. As you may, we've been hearing you from the time you were sworn in that you've been insisting that government projects will have to be undertaken at reasonable cost, like the competitive cost within time, and also with a prescribed quality as set out in the contractual documents. But I noticed that most of the projects government has been undertaking over the years haven't been delivered on time because of the bad payment system from government itself. As you may be aware, Mr. President, government payment system are very bad. You see, most of these, like NGOs, I'll give you an example, pay within 30 days. But governments will have an invoice that will be pending for 2 years sometimes. So the planning system and the payments also affect the delivery of most of these projects. Now my question is, what are you trying to do to make sure that you deal with these predicament payments in order to ensure that projects are delivered on time? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, one last call, and then I'll let you respond. And then, so 0978-895-895. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, sir. You're live on radio with the president. What's your name?
Yes, this is Pumba Timothy, calling from
Timothy. Timothy. Yes, go ahead, Timothy.
Yes, I would like just to congratulate our president, and I would like just him to confirm if what I wrote to him, the letter it reached him, Pumba Timothy. And the other thing is that, it is the youth who really were annoyed during the PF regime, and hence they voted for you. Now, I would like just to confirm if my letter, which I wrote to him, because there has been no response, and there has been
do you want to tell us what the details of the letter were?
It's okay.
It's okay?
It's okay.
Okay.
I think the important thing...
No.
Okay, no. Okay, all
Ask
right.
him to hold on.
Okay, just hold on.
But Timothy, be happy, man.
I was in Maninga, then I was transferred to the letter which I wrote. Now I don't want to disclose it to the
All right.
public.
Okay, no, it's
Timothy,
fine. It's fine.
Give us your number so that my team will reach you. We will not divulge into the letter because that's private matter, but we'll get your number. Then my team will reach you out.
I can take down the number.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I've waited for more than...
No. Just give us your number. Give us your number. Is it the one? Does it end with 183?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right.
Let me give you the number.
No. If it ends with 183, I'll be able to retrieve it. Let me. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of fraud going on, and I don't want people to accuse anybody of having helped out. Okay, so you've got 5 questions.
I've got them.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, Timothy Mwane, we appreciate your message of congratulations. You delivered this government, and it's your government. It will work for you. Determined to work for the people of Zambia, wherever you are. Now, the letter you've written to us will make a follow-up. I think we'll get your number, and I think it's important to maintain the confidentiality and privacy, so we don't have him to divulge into what the letter is. So my team will make a follow-up, and I think Mumba Timothy will confirm thereafter. So that's for him. Henry Tembo infrastructure projects, the right cost, quality delivery on time, as the UPND policy framework is, so we can save money for the country to do other things. But he says this has been affected by the poor payment system. I think he means late payments. Now, first we will maintain our policy of being prudent, spending public money prudently. That is not negotiable. Not negotiable at all, because we know the value of it. Every Zambian knows the value of it. Too much money was being stolen in the infrastructure. If you look at our debt pile, most of that debt pile is connected to infrastructure. Borrowed money, expensive money, placed it in roads, infrastructure, then the money was stolen from there. So we will not allow that to happen. You can bet. Someone will sneak that. They will continue, as I said, old habits linger on, but you won't do it twice. You may do it once, you will not do it twice. As I said, we will make bad behavior of this nature painful so that society can do the right things. But once we reform this, we agree that delayed payments. But once we reform, we agree that the projects are done at the right price. It means it will reduce the cost. Let me give you one example. I love that example. Lusaka-Ndola Highway was booked to be done at $1.2 billion, when it should cost less than $300 million, around $300 million. So it means $900 million was going to go out. When you book such a project, very high quality, you are setting yourself to failure to pay. Because you can't pay. It's just not correct. The amounts are too huge. They don't reflect the length of the road, 340 kilometers thereabout. The quality that you put in there, you are setting yourself for failure. And if you're a subcontractor on such a road, Luchi, by Henry Temple, structurally, you will not be paid on time because you have overpriced. So we're going to deal with that. So when we now price at the right level and you deliver quality and you finish on time, you will be paid. That answers the question. You will be paid. And if you are not paid because there's one or two issues, you will be engaged. You don't have to be in the queue for 2 years and no one speaks to you. We'll have a live contract management arrangement. It will happen. Just be patient. Thank you. Next is Lee, job creation, next 5 years, no recruitment, headed from social media. Not true. It is not true that everything you pick from the social media is correct. I want to help Zambians. I want to help. From my personal experience, I make decisions on 3 parameters. First parameter, I hear things. Verbally, I read things on social media, I don't believe them. Then I move to the next category, which is facts. I drift from the mountain of information I receive, because social media is alive 24/7. You check at 02, people are still posting to each other. So the freedoms bring other things, right? People then circulate even things they've just been tagged on. They tag it to me, to many other people, and someone picks that as the truth. No, not right. Move to facts. Then, based on facts, category 3, you can make a decision, or you can now take a position that this is a true position. So, hear things, don't believe them. Find the facts, number 2. 3, make a decision. Or no decision. It's a decision, actually, because now you know what is true. In this budget, let me repeat what I said. We are working on a budget we inherited. The only way you spend government money direct, largely through an instrument called a budget. You call it a budget. From my past scenes, we call it an instrument for generating revenue and directing expenditure. In simple language, you call it a budget. Generally, government money is spent through the budget. The first budget is 2022, which is being finalized. The draft will be presented by month end, this month end, first draft of the UPND ever budget. And in there, earlier you will see, I talked about devolution, taking money from the center. You will see it. Substantial amounts of money. Never happened before in the history of this country. It's part of our transformation, part of our reforms. Give the money to the owners, not to masqueraders privileged to sit in public offices and abuse, even fertilizer. I'll come to that. In there, Lee, you will see employment of, as we promised in the campaign, nurses, medical staff. You see teachers as an example. And we promised. Again, Luchi, tick the script. That's the beginning now. 22 budget is the first opportunity we have. Outside of direct public resources managed through the budget, we are working on what we call off-budget. I don't want to call it off-balance sheet, but I want to call it off-budget arrangements that will allow us to bring programs, to bring projects, facilities through our travels, through our networking. One of the things we're doing, Luchi, is to bring value to this country, to the people of Zambia, through our illustrious business network, developed over years, credibility. I used to talk about it. People were questioning that. Even you used to question me about it. Now you've already seen the value. The value includes us taking a week out, first trip, we come back with 1.6 million doses of COVID vaccines. Nobody does that. Unless you have some respectability, you are networked, there will be more coming. Okay. But there will also be items, facilities sitting outside the mundane public resources in the budget. Okay. But I've made the point by giving an example. Lee, what you heard is not true. Wait for the 29th or thereabout of this month. You will see in the budget talking about employing such as nurses, medical staff, and teachers. Debate settled. Debate settled. Shibembe. Some civil servants are critically ill. When will be the ban on transfer of civil servants will be done? Perfect. First, I'm sympathetic to those civil servants that are not well, to those Zambians, to those citizens who we love most, those that drove us, gave us energy to seek public office until they delivered us here. We are sympathetic to all of you and your family members. And we are here to find some remedy, some healing, some solution. The issue, by the way, that's why we want the health services delivery to improve. Critically important, very important. So now, for those transfers, they will be lifted very shortly. Because what we found out is that we were being sworn in, some ministries, some permanent secretaries, some departments were now employing people out of their own discretion, sending people to foreign missions to circumvent us re-looking at this issue. Remember, we said we want to reunite Zambia. And there was a pattern in this country where appointments in the public service and local government was only given to people from 2-3 regions out of 10 provinces. And you could see the mad rush to send people, to transfer people, to promote people. That was mischief. That's why it was placed, that lead was placed. But even now, some people are sneaking in 1 or 2 things, as I said, Luigi. But we're looking at it, somewhere reversing, so that we can bring equity at that level as well, and bring in a bit of merit, and being polite here, so that delivery can improve. Okay. So it will be lifted very soon. It was well intended, although some people have breached it, but we're monitoring, we're checking. Some sneak 1 or 2 things. Okay, we'll rein in on that. And the changes you are seeing now coming through include some of the situation where somebody, I'll give you an example. We record some ambassadors and high commissioners. And somebody around decided to record so many other people without the authority, fixing people that they didn't like, and then prepared a list to dispatch to replace those people without recourse to appropriate authority. Sneaking in that, that's mischief. We dealt with it 2 days ago. That person is gone. It's not that we hate them, but you cannot be mischievous when the government is trying to do the right thing. They are gone. There'll be 1 or 2 more along those lines, so that we can all stay in line for good reasons, so that one of our dreams, personal dream, which I'm pleading with colleagues to accept, is that 56 years after independence, some families in Kaputa, in Chama, have never had a son or a daughter in a foreign mission. So we want to pluck a family member from the remotest area, some of them, send them in a foreign mission. They've qualified, they've gone to school, but they have no connection in the government, because the government that was there was based on nepotism, paternalistic behavior, but they don't have to know anybody, as long as, again, through this devolution, we'll get to know talent from the local areas across the country. I'm determined, we're determined to bring such a child, male or female, and they go into an embassy, get a training, of course, diplomatic training. You know, we have a diplomatic training school in this country, in Lusaka, deeper there, they get a training. Then out of Kaputa, there is a diplomat who has no links to a minister, to the president, HH, and they're in a mission. That is satisfaction for me. That is equity for me. That is recognizing all Zambians for me. Now, why should someone now push their friends and relatives behind the scenes? That's why we placed that ban, but it will be lifted very soon, for good reasons. Yeah. Thank you, Hichilema. The Lushomo, congrats to HH, thank you very much. Thank you to you for voting and to others. This is me saying to Lushomo now, agriculture sector needs more support. Indeed, agreed. Chaos in there. Chaos in there, where fertilizer FISIP meant for farmers was going to a cooperative set up by people in the system who are abusing the system, and the fertilizer never reaches the farmers, the fertilizer is sold. That's what we're grappling with now. Right now, that's what we're grappling with, getting a handle. And so when people say there's slowness, I can understand. They are not aware of the things inside that we're trying to clean up. Not trying, that we want to clean up, we are going to clean up. Very committed, very determined, Luchi. So that we can, if fertilizer is meant for a farm, it must go to the farm. It must not go to a district agricultural officer through a fictitious cooperative. No. I have answered the question. We want to do more Lushomo in agriculture, value addition. We want to export more to Congo, more meleme. Congo has business for us. We have not been exploiting it. We will exploit it. We've already started. When we were in New York, I met the president of Congo, President Tshisekedi. We talked about trade. We talked about investment. We talked about managing our joint borders, a long border, and that bullets from one border post, Zambian side to the Congolese, or Congolese to Zambia is not what we want. We are aware of the border issues. We agreed with my brother, President Tshisekedi, that we'll deal with those issues, but more so, we want to improve the trade and investment between the two countries. Again, in line with our mandate, economic reconstruction for jobs, for business. And when is it? I said I'll be the chief salesman, Luchi, when we were campaigning. You were laughing at me. I am the chief salesman. That's why I met with President Tshisekedi in New York to talk about how we can sell more Zambian goods and services. And clearly, we have not been exploiting that opportunity. We've been sleeping on duty. Kule shipula panchito. Awe. Thank you.
Sorry, Lusha, but there's a question, the second question that you had, sorry. It's just
engagement with the youth.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Lushom has a point. Let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. We have the Minister of Youth and Sport, and we want to engage Lushom a little bit, and whoever else. I hope, Lushom, you have a few colleagues that you work with as the youth, but we are here for the youth. They put us in office. They defy the ethnic smell, the negativity of the campaign, which was, again, demonizing a citizen like me and others for a decision I did not make. Right? To be born in a particular place is a crime you must go to jail for. Not in this country. So that's a sidetrack. The youth are very important. Youth engagement is very important. SMEs was set up for that ministry. There's something going on in Mukula Lochina, where people are abusing the Mukula trees, and we've agreed as a small team in Vice President, myself, a few ministers, and our service teams to rein in on this cancer on Mukula, and where the rampant export of Mukula, the revenue doesn't benefit the country and the youth. Here's an opportunity where in the timber, natural resources, we can bring youth businesses through licensing restrictions and Muluchi, you love this, positive discrimination. So that the license go to the Zambians, the youth, the women, and they can do something, including the CDF, the devolution fund we're talking about. We want our timber, our mukwa to be applied to make desks in schools through this devolution fund, decentralization. I stand here, Luchi, and say, we do not want to see Zambian children sitting on the floor in a classroom in a constituency somewhere, because the money is coming next year. Part of that money will be to buy desks for every child in school, and will be monitoring. The fish eagle's eyes will be on you to check why should that child be sitting on the floor when the money has gone, to ensure that every child will sit on a desk, as I did, as you did. So now, there is the youth opportunity there, Lucio, to learn carpentry, welding. The welders that are already there, we want to buy from them. We will buy from them. The constituency should buy from the local youth who are carpenters, who are welders, to fix window frames, door frames. I used to say that in the campaigns as an opposition. I'm glad to announce that we are going to actualize that. Take the script. Be your own judge. Take the script. That now what we said in the campaign, it will happen now. And we are putting the instrument to allow the youth of this country, be organized. Don't be the new thugs in town. Be organized, cooperative, set up business, including the decision we made to issue mining licenses to Zambians and the youth, so that they can begin to mine. We give them the support, legal mining, legal, not illegal, legal mining, and then give them the technical support so that they don't die in the mining activity. Give them the market. Surprise, surprise. No, it's ordinary for us. People say it's over-promising. What is that supposed to mean? It's doing the bare minimum. And we are doing it. The Minister of Mines has already announced that youth set up cooperatives. We give you the license. We're reviewing the licensing arrangements in the Ministry of Mines. A lot of scams around there. We've had the minister and the team sitting here. When was that? A week or so ago. Unknown to you Zambians, we're already engaging to effect those opportunities for the youth to get a license. But it doesn't end there. Technical support, proper mining methods, safe mining methods. 2, financing. 3, markets. More so, value addition. Look at manganese. I love this subject. Manganese we're mining now. The rock manganese is about $100 per ton. But when we do just semi-processing and we create that capacity, which we're working on already, we're talking with the Minister of Mines and his team already. This State House is a delivery machine. That's what it is, nothing else. To say we can put a processor in Mansa there, where small mines were given to the youth licenses and mining properly, they can take their rocks there, manganese rock, and process, a tolling fee, it may be called, a bit of value sharing, we can achieve more than $1,000 per ton. Okay. That is tremendous. We don't want to make noise. We made enough noises when we were in opposition. Now is to act. Okay. We have already engaged. So, Lushomo, the contacts with the youth must be structured as well. We have a ministry, we have SMEs, we have green economy and environment, we have, even the youth who wanted to replace others in collecting revenues from markets. You don't have to do that. Don't spoil your dish. I said it already. Take these opportunities, but be organized as youth. Opportunities are abound. It will not happen in 1 month, because we have to do these administrative changes as to who is issuing licenses, how are they issuing licenses, but it's all coming up together. For me, it's a picture that I can see 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. Okay. And let's work together. Thank you.
There's a policy question, so I'll do 3 text messages and then I'll do five more calls.
No problem.
There's a policy question around retirement age. Somebody talking about, this is a teacher, And actually, just on that point also, when it comes to teacher employment, maybe you can touch on that. But the retirement age, he's talking about reversing the retirement age reversing it from the 60 to 65 to 50 to 55.
Right.
Reversing it from what it currently is to 50 to 55.
Okay.
There's a question as well around land use. Ownership of land needs to be reviewed. Why do a select few have rights to ownership of large chunks of land? Then they sell it to a poor worker at exorbitant prices. The owners of these large pieces of land were in good books with the past regime. It's not fair to treat citizens in such a manner. And just on the point that you were making with Lushomo around micro, small, and medium enterprises, Gilbert says what we need is a strong support institution to implement government policy decisions, other than government be the policy maker and implementer. So how soon do we expect the transformation to happen? Because it is here where lies the answers to youth empowerment.
Very good.
Yeah.
Can I start with the last one?
Last thing.
Gilbert, the thing is that the policy that we put in place was based on consultations as a manifesto with the public, knowing and being part of the community that these are the things that trouble the community. Isn't it? Very important. And we put a policy, we put them in the manifesto. The citizens went to vote on the backdrop of our manifesto. It means they love it, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's why they voted for this government and this alliance. Step number one. Step number two, we are now in office to implement those policies. Which policies are already in the public domain? They are known. Of course, we'll tinker around, meaning that will improve here and there, isn't it? To take account of variations, changes that have been occasioned by many factors. I don't want to go into that. So the answer is that we are not going to be just the policymakers and walk away. Let me announce something that has not happened, because it will happen this week. In this State House, doing things differently, this week we are appointing a presidential advisor whose only job is to ensure compliance with policies. This week. Police compliance advisor to the president, like COVID advisor. He'll be working with the ministers.
He or she.
He or she. That person, let's put it. That person will be working with the ministries, with local government, as we push money in local government devolution to follow through that the water is available for our women, our families, closer to their homes. Right? The green energy is available, for example, off-grid solar for water pumping, for lighting, so that a child in the village for a child happens everywhere. I didn't know. I'm a new occupant here, so I'm learning things. So that child in the village, Luchi, can have access to lighting to study at home in the village through solar power, off-grid. We want to make solar, we're working on making solar reasonably affordable and put schemes that will assess it. It's very important that those things are followed through. And the partnership in terms of implementation, it's not government alone. It's to work with families, to work with the youth. I've already talked about youth companies, isn't it? To work with them, to help them to know the opportunities that are there, and they must uptake these opportunities, isn't it? Yeah. And I think if we put, when we put a policy compliance advisor here to the president, his job, her job will be simply every day to follow through so that such an issue like Gilbert says is followed up. Okay. And I think that is straightforward. There's no brain at all. Okay. It's an but in partnership with the community, with cooperatives, with companies, with the individual entrepreneurs, all over. Yeah, because the benefits are the ones, sorry, they must trickle to those people. Sorry. Okay. There was an issue on ownership of land. Yes. I agree. Can I simply answer this comment by saying I 100% agree with what the colleague has said here on ownership of land. We need land to be available to people of Zambia. During the campaign, we were saying land will be part of what we'll use as equity for Zambians to bring to the table in a joint venture if they can't work it on their own. But there's a misnomer here, Lucy. Perception that young people cannot be successful farmers. They can be. Let me abuse my children. My children are ranchers. They're young. We taught them the art. They are ranchers in their own right. They sell steers to me. Their dad. I pay them. They can actually pay their own school fees where they are now. Back to the subject I had. Why should they queue for a bursary? They can pay their own school fees. Because it's a culture we were brought up with, and I'm a beneficiary of that culture. Maybe that's why I'm a rancher. At birth, your parents give you a heifer, a female animal. If you know how to nurse it, it works for you. So young people should consider taking farming as a business, and we should support them. And I'm saying that land is essential to be a farmer, depending on where you are. The culture you were brought up in. You can be a rancher, you can keep goats, you can keep sheep, you can keep pigs, you can keep chicken. You can also start farming fish. If you are from Lopula, the water bodies allow you to do that. Western Province, the water bodies allow you to do that. You can farm fish successfully. Today is not the day for me to go deeper into that subject.
Okay.
But I'm only stating that land is crucial.
Okay. And there will be...
In our early economics 110, Luchi, one of the things we used to learn was that, what are the three factors of production? I'm asking you. You don't have to be an economics student. Capital. 1. 2, labor. 3, land. So we want to actualize it. So I 100% agree with this colleague, and it's not just making land available to Zambia. We want to ensure that someone doesn't walk in from a foreign country and tomorrow they are controlling 20,000 hectares of land. Did they carry it in a suitcase from where they're coming from? No. How did they get it? Who gave them that land? Those are the questions we want to answer.
Okay.
Yet a Zambian like you, you'll not even be given 1,000 hectares because there'll be so much noise in the whole country that Lucia has 1,000 hectares, but a foreigner comes in, has 20,000 hectares. What do they do next? They parcel it, they subdivide it and start selling to Zambians. It will not happen.
Okay. There was
So there was a question on retirement age.
Yeah.
I have heard that.
Okay.
There's a debate going on, 60 years versus 55 years. My team, can we log in that issue, take it to labor, and if it's possible to have a number for that colleague, not because that issue affects that colleague alone. This is a national debate right now. And in the campaign, we heard a lot, people expressing what they feel. And so I think we should achieve consensus very soon, working with the unions, Luchi. Our approach is consultative, working with the Ministry of Labor, working with employers. What is called a tripartite deal, cancer platform. Tripartite. What is that? Labor. So we have to talk to workers, including young people, those in employment. And through there, they're represented by unions in some cases, but in others not. 2, we work with employers. 3, and remember, government is also employer, but 3, government. That's a tripartite partnership, and this is a critical subject. It has a lot of appeal to me as an individual.
Okay.
But I'm only an individual, but I have my views, very strong views. One of the things I believe in that if people left early and they're given some support in terms of capital before they even leave and prepare themselves, they will be able to live on their own and they don't have to stick like a tick on a payroll to a point where they crowd out their own grandchildren at the bottom. So if people left at a certain level, they allow grandchildren to enter into employment and program or age or opportunity, then the youth, more youth come in place. But If people leave, Luchi, we have to ensure that their benefits are attended to. You can't shunt people out and their benefits. So these are some of the reforms that we are working on. Okay. So please take the number. Do you have the number?
I have the number, yes. I'll forward. In fact, what I'll do is, because I came in with 19 pages of text messages.
19?
19 pages.
It's very popular, isn't it?
Yeah. So your team tells me that we have to end at 12 o'clock. So what I'll do is, let me take 3 questions via the phone, and if you can be as brief in your responses as possible. Are we in agreement? Okay. 0978-895-895 if you'd like to call us, 0978-895-895. That's the number you can use to get in touch with us this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
This is Victor calling you from Cincinnati.
Sorry, your name again?
This is Victor calling you from Cincinnati.
Victor, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to ask the president. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Victor. Go ahead with your question. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to ask the president about the coronavirus. Like us who are in the rural areas, yes? I just want to know more about the president, what he's thinking about us who are in the rural areas. Because we are not vaccinated and it's far from clear to them. What I wanted to ask the president, what he's thinking about it.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Victor. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello? Okay, nobody on that line. 0978-895-895 if you would like to call. That's the number you can use this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello? Okay, nobody on that line again. There's somebody asked a question about small-scale farmers, Mr. President, something that you can deal with in terms of inputs for many of these small-scale farmers. There seems to be a complaint that they're not able to access funding. So I'm hoping that that's something that you can take note and you can you can deal with. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, we seem to have a little challenge going on here. So let me go back to the phone, to the text message, so that I can deal with some of these. Fertilizer distribution under the Farmer Support Program. Southern, Western, and Northwestern provinces are on e-voucher systems of fertilizer distribution. This means giving a farmer a voucher token system for fertilizer. The voucher has a value. Last year it was 2,000. It meant that in these provinces, each farmer got a maximum of 3 fertilizer bags. In other provinces, which were not on e-voucher, they were given 9 fertilizer bags, as well as other seeds such as soya beans or groundnuts. These provinces were perceived to be PF supporters. If the New Dawn government does not quickly check this discrepancy, it will be repeated this year. That's a question from somebody. Do you want to quickly respond to those so that you don't...
Yeah, I'll be very quick, Luchi. The thing is that they start with the fertilizer sport. The colleague is spot on. There was discrimination in the distribution of fertilizer in this country. Some provinces, to be specific, Western province were discriminated, Southern province was discriminated, parts of Lusaka were discriminated against. And some provinces were given more fertilizer than others. We have made a decision that will be fair, will be equitous in this country. And you know why that was happening. It was a political persecution, and it will not happen going forward. We're working on equalization, even as late as this year. I'm saying even as late as this year because this year, the fertilizer program, the procurement of fertilizer, all farming inputs were decided by PF. For the first time, in fact, PF decided to give the contract for fertilizer supply for 2 years instead of 1 year in order to lock out UPND in the event that UPND came into office. Mischievous, isn't it? Absolute mischief. So we are working hard. That discrimination was going to continue even in this season. As per plan as we sit now, we are reviewing it only yesterday. Only yesterday. We are working, Luchi. The discrimination is to continue. And although it's a late hour, There are other challenges I don't want to talk about here because we'll be issuing a statement around fertilizer and input support very soon, following the work that is going on. A lot of issues, I think, are coming through. I don't want to preempt that, but I can comment that our attempt, our intention, clear, to equalize, to be equitable. If I say equalize is wrong, to be equitous is right. Equity meaning fairness based on various parameters. What are these parameters? Number of farmers, right, in an area who qualify, and then appropriate distribution of inputs to those. Certainly we will take away the discrimination. As late as this year, we are working to see how we can ameliorate that discriminatory tendency that went on for years, not for 1 year, for years. And these are the things we want to heal in our country. It was not correct. And when you heard people, provinces agitating, some people who didn't know what was happening were just saying, why are these people making noise? They were being discriminated against. You can't do that to your own citizens. So we want equity across the 10 provinces of Zambia. Equity based on the factors, that one of which I've just indicated here. The number of farmers who qualify, the farming culture activities in that area, all of those factors taken into account. So we're working on that. Going forward, next year, you will see a better program of distribution. In fact, we're working to move away from just fertilizer and seed as the focus. Remember, I think it's Lushomo or somebody who talked about agricultural potential. We want to move towards what we call agricultural support program, which will look at not just inputs, but of course, remember in our campaign, we're talking about working towards lowering the cost of inputs. Very, very important, extremely important, because then it lowers the cost of production, which will help deliver food for our people at a lower price. We're working on those commitments. I'm now going to put promises, but commitments to our people. So, now, what else? What else?
There was
okay. Around
okay.
there. So going forward, we'll be working on dealing with those issues. But agriculture is of vital importance. Employer, on the farm, processing, revenue, local currency, foreign currency. We know these opportunities we'll be working towards them. There was an issue on small-scale farmers, inputs, funding is a problem. I think it's connected, isn't it? It's connected.
Okay.
We will make sure that we address those issues, particularly in the next season, which is the first time the UPND and this alliance government will be in a position to direct resources in the needy areas. Okay. You will see that happening. Victor Chinsali, Victor Varishanu Koko Chinsali Mkwai, and thank you for calling in. I think he called in, isn't he? Called in. And he talked about the coronavirus, that the rural areas really have not been attended to in the program. I think information, what we do is I ask you to help us with a number.
No problem.
So that Dr. Chilengi, the COVID advisor, can follow up, talk to Victor, get a little bit more information, and through that and other conversations, we see what we do. But our intention is to cover the whole country. Remember Thursday, I talked about something there at the youth center, Commonwealth Youth Center, which was that there's what is called in the kingdom we belong in. The kingdom meaning the animal species, human beings, other animals. So if we are defined as that, because biologically we are, there is what is called in a pandemic situation, herd immunity. If you want to achieve herd immunity, population immunity, you need to drift towards the 70% of the population. This is a science that's been proven right over years. So we are moving towards a target of 70% immunization so that we can rein in on COVID. That includes rural areas. So we've been challenged in the past, haphazard management of the program. We are streamlining on that. So I think I would say by Victor Mkwai, to allow to my phone, Abanandi, they're listening here, allow to my phone, and so we can get more and see what is your nearest opportunity or facility that people like you can access. But your question is not just for yourself, is for many other people, including rural areas. I think that Thursday, we talked about that herd immunity. We talked about now broadening, and I'm sure the COVID advisor will announce this. We are rolling out, relaunching the vaccination program and other anti-COVID measures in the provinces, in the districts. Hopefully we'll get to the constituencies, and if possible to the wards. And then we are able to reach out to all our people. I thought I needed to say that. Just very quickly, Luchi, if you allow me, we are working on this issue of taxation, because this is related to the income levels that our people can access. And in this budget, I don't want to make too much commitments. I'm looking at what's happening, talking to the Minister of Finance, talking to inputs from stakeholders, that we want to move, at least I know, we want to move towards what is called fair taxation. Fair taxation, balanced taxation, equitable taxation, which in tax theory itself, I used to say it in the opposition. Are you not glad that I'm saying it as a servant of the people? Yes. You remember, Luchi?
I remember.
That once the tax system is fair, is equitable, the theory goes by that you collect more money, because there's no motivation for people to cheat. Now we are in this position, this role, we are working towards actualizing that gradually, and knowing that we don't want to create a distortion, a disruption also on the revenue side. But the truth is that if we get it right, and we tend to get it right, reasonably right, it will bring more revenue, even though it's at a lower rate, even though it is probably. I mean, I'll tell you that.
Is that now? Sorry, is that now?
I said we've started already.
Okay.
The budgeting process is
okay,
on,
so this
but
is
the
now.
road is on now.
Okay.
The very thing we were saying when we were in opposition is what we are doing. Let me give you an example. Some council rates for properties encourage property owners not to pay rates, because the rates are like you are buying a new property. Now, you are creating an environment for default there, but we'll be engaging with the councils. We'll be engaging with lands. I come from a different background. If certain fees, rates, charges don't earn you money, they earn you limited amounts of money. But if you turn the page and look at the usage of that asset and focus on encouraging usage of that land, usage of that building, so you encourage somehow to avoid empty buildings, unproductive assets, you move towards bringing the assets into production, you generate tenfold more revenue. It's a paradigm shift. But we're working because, again, we've not had a military coup where we can come and decant everything. We are looking at a transition period. So this is one we are looking at very carefully, but we know the end game. We know the benefits that will arise. So you watch that space. Right?
Does it include personal income tax?
Yes.
Pays rent, VAT?
Pays the whole range.
Okay.
The whole range.
I feel like you want to say a lot more. Please,
no,
go ahead.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to digress, because you see, all I want to deliver a message is that tax must not be punitive. That's the word I was looking for. Tax must not be punitive. Tax must be collected, but it must be equitable, it must be fair, it must be balanced. And the theory cannot be challenged over years, including the prehistoric times. Remember, there used to be tax even at that time. The chief who taxed their subjects more and was lazy, didn't do any work, but asked for more melemele, more ornaments, more human beings. Slavery started in the family as tax system, right? In the communities. Over time, members of the society gravitated away from that chiefdom into the next chiefdom, where there was a fairer tax system in the traditional days. It hasn't changed now. The form is different, but the theme is the same.
Okay.
So this is the point I'm making. So it's a broader tax system, including, let me dare say it here. Let me say it here. Taxation in the mining system, in the mining sector. We want to create, we pronounced ourselves already. We said it at the opening of Parliament. We have a bit of memory, which we've said it everywhere, that we want to ramp up production in the mining sector from the current 800,000 metric tons, plus or minus, closer to 2,000 over time. In order to achieve that, we have to attend to many variables. mine ownership, bringing Zambians on stream so they can benefit from the assets. More importantly for this subject, Luchi, to ensure that the laws around mining as a sector are appropriate. Policies around mining, regulations are appropriate, attractive. Not to a foreigner. Please, give me a break. To you and me as a Zambian investor. Because the mindset of investment is the same. A return on investment. Right? Otherwise, why would you put your money there? I mean, you'll be kidding yourself. And you won't even employ people. If the business is losing money, you can't employ nobody. It's simple as that. I am stronger in those views now than ever before. And that's why we were put in office, to create jobs. But through investments that are profitable. And part of the profitability comes from attractiveness of the sector, the laws, the regulations, the taxes. Okay. That's where I'm going. Okay. The taxes that are fair. So we are reviewing all of that so that this package is attractive to investors, our own people who will be encouraged, regional investors, global investors, ramp up production, take it to 2,000 metric tons plus. The Minister of Finance has bigger projections, and I share his views, so that we can now realize the potential of this asset, which will improve the standard of living and create more jobs for our people. That's the way it works. Okay. Now we are in this chair, Ruchi, we are in this government, we are driving this very hard, and the benefits will be obvious, unquestionable. Yeah. And that's where the distinction will come from. And also we want to use for example, the mining sector to drag other sectors along. Tourism, because the infrastructure, to drag other sectors in terms of value addition and the market issues, the demand pool issues. I don't want to confuse the listeners. Thank you.
Your team is going to kill me because we have gone a little overboard. But I want to thank you for joining us this morning. I want to thank you for agreeing, for honoring your commitment to come to Phoenix and to speak to people. Thank you very much.
Luchi,
can I also just say I want to thank you for inviting me to the People's Home.
Absolutely.
I've never been, so this is my first time. So thank you very much.
Are you serious?
No, I've never been.
Let me tell you, this is when I came into this house, it was my second time ever, at my age. But we want to make this house more open. As we declared outside there, this is your house, people of Zambia. These are your grounds. We're just temporary occupants to do a job for you. All the time. Service to the people. We may make mistakes along the way. Our intentions are clear. Service to the people. All the time. Okay. And I want to thank you, Radio Phoenix, yourself, listeners, other platforms that have agreed to cover us on this program. A lot of people were scared, don't go on radio, you'll be balloped, people will do this. Hey, a leader must accept ballocking if it's relevant. A leader must be in a position to engage the people. That's what we are doing. But you've given us this platform. Next time it will be another station, another radio or television, or indeed, my team, hear me out, social media. We can also have a program on social media platform so that we engage the people 1 hour, 2 hours. What's the intention? Talk to the people on good things, even on difficult things. Talk to the people. Work with the people. That's our intention. This is on the beginning. Thank you, Luchi. Thank you, Radio Phoenix. Thank you, listeners. Thank you to the callers. Thank you to those who text messages. We'll get back to you. God bless Zambia. God bless our people.
Thank you very much.